Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and on this video tutorial we're going to make some beautiful and super affordable multi-strand pearl necklaces using ribbon. And I'm going to give you a ton of ideas on how to embellish it, and I'm going to tell you where I started and where I ended up. So as you were hopping on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from, feel free to sprinkle, all that good stuff. This is where we're headed. Doesn't look great with what I have on, but it is a beautiful necklace. Okay, so I started this whole idea when I saw some pretty pictures on Pinterest that I thought, that doesn't look too hard. So I fished out some of my costume jewelry, pearls, nothing real. And I started fiddling around with that, and the problem I kept having was this, the closure. How do you hide that? How do you keep it hidden? And I didn't want to take any of this actually apart. So I have a solution. And my solution is this. These are pearl strings. They're not real pearls, obviously. They look pretty decent, that I picked up at Hobby Lobby today. They were either 40 or 50% off of all ribbons, and this was included. So this was $5.99, $6. I paid like I don't know, $3.50 or something for it, and it's, let's see, how many feet is it? 6 yards. I got this one. I got this just a little bit smaller size. And then I got this one. And I thought, well, I can make a ton of necklaces with this and then just hang on to it for a future project. So that's what we're going to do. I am going to be playing with these pearls a little more. I'm not quite ready to finish this up. But this was also one of my inspirations. This is a beautiful set of brown pearls, which I was planning to put, do you guys remember when we made this? Out of a vintage doily. I was going to put it on some cream colored sari ribbon and put one of these little doily things on it. So that's what the plan was with this. But I think let's focus just on this for the moment, and then we'll come back to everything else. Okay, so you know how you go somewhere and you purchase supplies and you think, yeah, I want this, I want this, I want this, and you come home with one of something in particular that you're not sure you're going to even like? Well, that's what I did. I came home with one of this. Darn. And this is the most beautiful, fabulous velvet trim with fray edge ribbon. It was $3.99. So next time I'm in that part of town, I'm going to go back and get some more. It's this dusty blue color. It's just fabulous. So this is what we're going to be working with. And I'm going to show you start to finish how to make something that looks like this. And then of course you realize that you could adapt this idea to anything you want. Okay, so first thing I did was I got my ruler out and I did various lengths of this I cut off. So I did like 11, 10, 9, 8, so that kind of thing. So I'm going to cut one at 11 and one at 8, and that's the biggest one, and there's tons on here, so this would make a great present. It could also be a really fun girls get together kind of a thing. This is the medium one. I'm going to make one 10-ish and one 6-ish. And then this is the really itty bitty one, which I I wasn't sure if I wanted to get it, and I'm so glad that I did, because it's really awesome, and it adds a lot, I think, to the project. So just all miscellaneous lengths, honestly, but most of them a little bit shorter than 12 inches, because it's not going all the way around your neck. It's just going, put this puppy on. Isn't that pretty? I bet you all in all, other than the Cameo, which was probably around $2, I have 50 cents or $1 into the rest of the necklace. So pretty fabulous, I think. Okay, so now what am I going to build them on? Well, I've done two different things. I built them on some canvas duck, which will do this, and I built them on some thin cardboard, and that's this one. Both ways work just fine. We're going to cover up what is holding this together. So let me just cut a couple little pieces. Let's start right here. And I'll tell you what my measurements are in just a minute. These are going to be too big. I'm going to end up trimming them almost no matter what I do. Okay, so this is really heavyweight canvas duck. And I did two pieces that, let me go a little higher and tilt my camera down better. Okay, and they are, oh no. Oh my goodness, you guys, I am so sorry. I dropped you on the floor. Okay, let's start over. For all those people out there that say they can't do Facebook Lives because they struggle with the technology, I'm like, well, I just tipped my phone over. Okay, we'll make that work. Okay, these are like 1.5 inches long and about 1 inch wide, and I have two. And for this project, we're using a combination of your really super strong glue, which I'm using E6000, but I've heard people tell me that E7000 is even better. I don't know, I haven't tried that. And we're using my low temperature hot gluing device, which is a SureBonder Cool Shot. Okay, and first thing I'm gonna do is on the bottom piece of the pie that we're gonna, the sandwich that we're gonna make, I'm gonna put a whole bunch of E6000. And I'm just really gonna put it along one side. I'll pick this up in just a second and show you. Just a big lump in my glue. We don't need that. Can you see? And let me do the other one. Well, no, we'll just do one at a time. Okay, so I am going to put this down, and I'm just randomly going to put my little beads on. Let's see which ones are the shortest and which ones are the longest. This looks like the shortest so far. This is another short one. What's that? So I'm just going to stick 1 or 2 little pearls into that E6000. And then we'll finish up with. And part of what makes this necklace charming is that it's all kind of twisted and messy looking. So don't overthink it, you know, and feel like you have to have everything exactly in order. Is everyone okay, or did I hurt you when I tipped over my tripod? I don't see anyone. Do this if you're still alive and breathing out there after I tipped you over. Okay, so I have my little beads glued onto one side of this. Now I'm going to make a sandwich, and I'm just going to use hot glue, a whole bunch of it. And this is all going to be covered up, so it does not matter. But I want it to be solidly in there. Okay, so that's one side. So let me cut some more little pieces, and we'll finish this up. And we're going to put our Sherbond, or our E6000 on one side, on the bottom part of this sandwich. This glue takes a little while to dry. That's why I like to use the hot glue also. Okay, so I have this piece ready to create. Let's look at this. We'll do a couple that are straight. Let's start with this one. So is this making sense? And do you guys see how you could make a ton of these necklaces using this beaded, what do they call this? Pearl trim. You could make a ton of necklaces for hardly any money. Okay, so I have it glued into my E6000, and now I'm going to do a whole bunch of hot glue over the top and at the end and on the sides. And I'm going to put the top on the sandwich. This is such a me kind of a craft, because I'm the type that if I can't figure out, how to do something properly, but I want to do it, I'm going to invent something. And this is what I invented today to make this work, by golly, these little sandwiches. This one is made with canvas duck, and this sandwich right here is made with cardboard, and they're basically the same thing. Okay, so this is still drying, but when it is dry, I would trim it up, trim the canvas duck up real close to the edges, and glue it closed if it opens somewhere. This one's all ready to go. So I'm really, really, really wishing, darn, that I would have bought more of this. I'm gonna go get some more, because this is awesome. Velvet trim with fray edge. And does it say what this color is? It's a 98% cotton. It doesn't say, but it was $3.99 minus either 40 or 50%. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to cover up our cardboard with this and a little glue. I'm going to round this just a little bit. I'm just going to cover the whole thing with hot glue. Who's going to try to make one of these necklaces? Is anybody inspired to give it a whirl and to do my kind of weird method? Tell me in the comments if you are. Okay, so I've just pushed that into the glue and I'm simply going to flip it over and glue down the other side. Pinch this part at the end together and let's finish it up on the end. Okay, da-da-da. Well, it's got a ton of glue strings and strings on it, but if I didn't tell you what was in here, a sandwich of cardboard, I don't think you would know. You would just think that this is the part of the design. Okay, let's do the other side, and I'm going to try to remember to have the finish be on the same part. Pressing it into that glue. Let's do the other side. I'm just going to pinch the end together. Okay, let me get another glue stick and then we will finish it up and we'll move on to the next step, which is, I think, where things get really fun. Okay, which is the back. This is the back side. So, these scissors that I'm using right now desperately need to be retired. I've probably cut too many things that you're not supposed to cut with them because they are not sharp at all. Okay, and here we go. Boy, if someone could invent hot glue without the glue strings, they would be a bazillionaire. Who else gets tired of dealing with glue strings? This is going to be very pretty. Okay, then I am going to just use this same velvet ribbon and I'm going to glue it to the back here and take it so it's straight all the way around to the other side. And let's figure out how long I want it to be, roughly. It needs to be at least big enough that I can get it over my head when it's time to take it off. So I'm going to just chop this right here. I'll say that that is the right length. And I just used hot glue for this part, but now that I'm thinking about it, you could certainly use some E6000 too if you want, just to make it even stronger. Make sure that I don't have this twisted. Are you guys loving this? Oh my gosh, this is the secret. This fabulous velvet ribbon, in my opinion, is what makes this project. And it would be, this whole idea would be beautiful. I don't know if they have this in black, but I did notice that they had a lot of different colors, and I don't know why I landed on this dusty blue. It is pretty, but this is what makes it. So if you have a Hobby Lobby in your area, I will get a picture, a close-up picture of the front and back, and I'll put that in the comments in case you want to try to go and find some. And then what makes it super affordable is using these spools rather than buying a whole bunch of pearl necklaces. Okay, let's make a pretty little something something for one side. And I'm going to start with some of this, which is silk like cut edge ribbon. We're just going to do, you know, that basic messy stacked bow that I like to do. And let's do, this look is like an organza. Oh yeah, it is an organza, but it's all nylon and it's kind of an ivory color. So let's do, let's do 3 pieces of that. And then let's do some of this. Two pieces of this. Oh my gosh, I love this ribbon. Why have I never purchased it or even noticed it before? I don't know. I can't imagine. Okay, so I'm going to start by just doing crisscross, crisscross, and I'm going to put a teeny tiny little, well, let's make the dovetails first on this bigger piece. So I just fold it in half. Okay, so now I have dovetails. And okay, you guys, if you are liking this idea, do a this or a this. And feel free to sprinkle. I'm liking this idea. Okay, and then I'm gonna put, this time I'm gonna put these pieces on first. And then we'll do the organza on the very top, and then we'll decide what else we want to have. This may need to be trimmed up a little bit. I'm just putting a teeny little blob of glue in the center. I'm just layering my pieces on. Doing a crisscross, crisscross, and then for the last one, I like to just kind of go right across the whole project. So I call this a stacked bow. And I like to use zip ties to finish it off. These zip ties that I'm using are a Dollar Tree zip tie. They're nothing fancy. And I'm just going to put that on the back. You can do whatever kind of bow you want, or no bow, or, you know, a traditional bow with loops. Absolutely whatever floats your boat. Okay, I'm going to sneak it around to the back so I can see what I'm doing. Don't want everything folded weird in the back. And I'm not going super duper tight. I do think I'm definitely going to do some trimming. Okay, and then I'm just going to scooch this little zip part around to the center as much as possible. And I'm going to cut it off. And I am going to trim some of these little pieces because they're way too long. And then we'll choose an embellishment, and I have tons of options. Once you do one of these kind of zip tie things, you really have to work to get it so it's, you know, facing the right direction and not all completely wonky. Gosh, I hate that I wasted any of this beautiful blue velvet ribbon. Let's be short. Okay. And this is basically what I have. And, okay, so there's so many options. And this is that same blue velvet right here that I made into a bracelet. And one day later this week, after I get back to Hobby Lobby, we're going to make some bookmarks. Anyways, so I am probably going to use some E6000 to create a cute little bracelet. Can you see that? But for right now, let's just scooch it off to the side. Okay, so one thing we could do is we could put a pretty, this would be beautiful, a pretty button. This is a gray mother of pearl button. Here's another beautiful one. We could do something like that and that would be beautiful. Or I could do white even, and a pretty white one. Needs to be the right scale and not absolutely gigantic. So that's one option. I'm going to just grab this one button just in case. Another option is if you have some of your, I don't know, your grandma, yourself, your aunt, you know, old earrings and bling and things, pins, you could use something like that. So let's look through my little Ziploc bag. Let's see what I have here. Well, this would not go, but it's pretty. And I think a lot of these are probably way too big. And what's this one? That's not the right colors, but that's pretty. Oh, here's a Cameo. or I could do something like this. The scale, it might be a little too big. Most people have some of this kind of stuff hanging out somewhere in their house. So I could do something like that. But what I think I'm going to do is another cameo of some sort. And then I also think that I'm going to include these in my blessing boxes. So I'll make 2 of them that are pretty similar, and then I'll clean all the glue strings off and I will put these in the blessing boxes. So I have several options. Here's a blue one, or I could do black, only I don't think that's right. Or I could do something understated like this one. Let's see what that would look like. That's pretty, but I think it needs to be the blue one. So let's open this up. Let me know if you would like to look at my Totally Dazzled page. And that is where you can get all this good stuff. Okay. Let's see. I want to put something over this just to make sure that we cannot see the zip tie. Let's just do one little piece of this. Every time you fuss with your little stacked bow, you're going to have to straighten everything out again because, ooh, I cut that way too little. Oh well. That's going to work just fine. Okay, so I'm going to put this beautiful cameo on here. Okay, I'm back. You guys, I'm so sorry. My son called and I touched the wrong button and then I couldn't figure out how to untouch it. Okay, so this is what that looks like. Isn't it pretty? And then I'm going to look at my piece and I'm going to see which one of these sides looks the messiest. And that will determine, I think it's this one for sure, where we put this. And so I'm going to just put it kind of right on this piece right here that's covered cardboard. Okay, you guys, I'm so sorry. My son keeps calling. So I'm about finished anyways. I will get pictures of this. Feel free to sprinkle, feel free to ask questions. I'll get you my supply list and I'm going to get pictures of this beautiful ribbon and I'll put those in the comments and on DIY Dreaming. And I hope that you guys have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. Sorry to rush off here, but there must be some reason why my son is calling and calling. So I'm going to be a good mommy and find out what that is. And